Hello everyone, today we have the release of Ravonna Renslayer. Ravonna Renslayer is a 3-cost, 3-power card with the ongoing ability your cards with 1 or less power cost 1 less, with a minimum of 1 of course. And so this is kind of interesting. We all know the potential impact and power of card cost reduction. We know that Sarah, things like Quinjet, Zabu at one point or another have all dominated their metagame, so card cost reduction can be very, very strong. And I don't think Ravonna is going to necessarily be in that category, but it's never a bad trade whenever you get to outvalue your opponent. And so if you can get Ravonna down, you can do some really interesting plays, namely things like Iron Man and Mystique. Those are going to become much cheaper, and Iron Man at a 5 cost was already really solid in certain builds, but in the 4 cost slot, it becomes even better, especially if you can do that alongside a Kitty Pryde, that alongside a Korg, or maybe a Black Widow, maybe an Angela. You have a couple of interesting lines or ways to play your cards now, and Ravonna helps increase the flexibility of those lower cost but higher impact cards. Now, I know that a lot of people are probably going to slam this into a Mr. Negative deck. I think that's probably going to be a good backup plan, but I don't think it's necessarily where the strengths are going to show. Because once you hit Mr. Negative, Ravonna's bonuses on those new cards are not going to come into effect, and so it's not really going to matter in some games, versus something like a Cerebro 3, where you can get a big discount on your Cerebro and your Mystique, or something where you're looking to do high-value, low-cost cards, so an On Reveal deck, or like we're running today, just a Hawk value deck. We're not looking to just absolutely dominate. We're looking to add steady disruption through our Korg, our Black Widow, and our Rockslide, and then just have some high value outputs in the Angela, the Kitty Pryde. Yeah, yes, you're seeing that right. The Hobgoblin. And then we do have Jubilee. Now, Chavez, I don't know that she, in the long run, fits into this build. I feel like we could probably fit something a little bit more efficient into the deck, but for now, I wanted to test out with her, and then we'll continue experimenting and brewing without it in there. I don't think Ravonna is going to be one that has as big of an impact as something like Loki or something like Eliath, but I do think it's going to be one that just continually has some value, and it's going to be a card that you want to look out for as people start brewing decks. I think there's going to be some cool utility with her, and now I do know that Mobius is going to be kind of like a direct counter to the Ravonna reduction, and we'll see if he is common enough where it becomes an issue. But for now, we have a free week of using Ravonna Renslayer, so definitely jump in. This has been a really fun build to test out. I hope that you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys as always for being here. We're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. I hope you guys enjoy. Very common card anymore, but they could definitely go for it. I'm going to go Hawk and Mystique and hope that they don't have a Shang-Chi. If they do, they're going to win. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to have a chance to beat us. Now, I guess they could have an Enchantress. They could have the Super Scroll, but it doesn't look like this is the type of deck that is going to have one of those built in. And so let's see what they end up going with. They could use Mystique to copy the Iron Man. That would give them a big right lane. No, Arnold Zola. Arnold Zola ends up hitting the Hobgoblin, which is massive because we're going to get hit with a -8 power in this left lane. But the Widow's Bite that we sent them is going to cause them to put 3 extra cards in their deck, and we are going to come away victorious. We will take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Bug Shacks, and we do have Ravonna once again. And Ravonna was a card that I wasn't necessarily looking forward to. I think she's okay, but there's a lot of restrictions around her. I think she's going to be great for things like Green Goblin and Hobgoblin and a few other unique playlines, but I don't think she's going to be just like a staple. Like Eliath can just absolutely dominate the game. I don't think she's going to dominate in her own regard. She will create plays of very high value, high potential outcomes. And so the hub comes down. Ooh, we get Wolfsbane, which is going to be impacted by Ravonna. They did use Cable, so they steal one of our cards. It is what it is. We have every card, all of our cards except for Korg is going to benefit from Ravonna here. And so we could even go something like Mystique to copy Ravonna further. I think that's definitely overkill, but it's a possible line. And so they used our Hawk, and they used our Rock Slide against us. At least we know what it was that they drew from our stack. I'm going to go ahead and go Hobgoblin in the left lane before they can cap it out. It is going to help our Angela scale ever so slightly. I don't think we'll need it, but it will help out. So let's go ahead and lock that in. They do a double drop in the right lane, one being Collector, one being Zabu. This looks like a Loki deck, and hopefully they don't draw their Loki, or if they do, maybe we can still outscale it and just get more benefit than what they can. All right, so I'm going to go Iron Man into mid. No. We're going to start with Black Widow, and then we're going to go Iron Man. That's going to allow us to copy Iron Man with our Mystique, and then the Widow's Bite is going to make sure that they can't draw. And I think we should get some decent value. They go Devil Dino here. I do think we can outscale the Devil Dino as long as they don't have some way to like double down on how big the Devil Dino gets. I think between Iron Man, Mystique, Korg, and Wolfsbane, we'll have a really, really big lane, and this is going to be really tough for them to overcome. So I think this is where we want to push, is the Mystique into the Korg, into the Wolfsbane, into the Kitty Pryde. I think we play away from the Collector lane. I think we just barely impact this lane. Keeping Angelo right around 8 to be below Shang-Chi range is huge. And then I think the double Iron Man in Xandar is going to bring us the rest of the way home. So let's go ahead and lock it in. They do go very heavy into Xandar. Let's see if we can outpower what they throw down there. I don't know. I didn't calculate just because we have the double... Just because we have the double Iron Man, we definitely could have outpowered the right lane, so definitely a strange stay from Shaxx. I think we have a good shot. We're gonna have the Wolfsbane, which luckily we got from the hub. I think we can overpower the 30-something. Yeah, we definitely overpower the 33. And so we overcome the left, we overcome mid, and then we just leave right alone. We will absolutely take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have rank 255. So it should be a good match. The first location is Daily Bugle. We don't really have too much that scales too much besides something like Kitty Pryde or Angela. We do have Ravonna in our starting hand, which is just a beautiful sight to behold. We have the Mystique right now. We might even do Rock Slide on 3 and then just save Ravonna for 4. I think it really depends on what else we end up grabbing. Collector could be discounted by Ravonna. The Black Widow can be discounted by Ravonna. But let's go ahead and just curve into the Black Widow. I know that it can be as cheap as 1, but that would mean we were going to drop something like Shadow King this turn, and that just doesn't seem like something that we want to do. And so the Widow's Bite is going to hurt them. It's definitely going to hurt them. We draw our Jubilee, which is going to be nice. We could potentially pull like the Hobgoblin, the Iron Man. I think we go Ravonna here, and then we'll drop Hawk. After that, we can do something like Mystique and Rock Slide. I'm not going to snap on them because I am wanting to just see this play out as much as possible. And so, ooh, they're going Ravonna as... Oh, no, that's our Ravonna. That's not theirs, that's ours. They have a different card back than that. So we do get Kitty Pryde, so now it would be a 2 out of 4 of getting a really good pull from Jubilee. I don't think it's something we're going to risk this turn, but it is a possible play line for the future. Let's go Collector and then Hawk. Next turn, we're looking at doing something like Mystique and then Rock Slide. And we can always use a Jubilee on the last turn. Oh, the Ravonna is... Oh, they have a double Ravonna. But it looks like they're going Cerebro 3. Oh, they're going Cerebro 3 on us. Ooh, that's kind of scary. So there's 3 cards over here. So 7, 14, 21 could be the potential that they end up going with. That's definitely pretty scary. Iron Man could help us here potentially, because we could do Iron Man and then Mystique to copy it. I'm gonna do Mystique, Rock Slide. Oh, okay, so the magic will extend the game. That gives us a little bit of extra time to find our cards. Now, if they get Cerebro, if they get Mystique, both of those are going to be 1 cost, which is wild. So crazy value on their end. We could always maybe set them back with Shadow King, potentially. All right, let's go ahead and do all of this. We are using Jubilee, so maybe we get a Hobgoblin. No, we get Korg. Korg's not terrible. It could cause them to not be able to draw the card that they need. They only have 1 card left in hand now at this point, and so this is probably Cerebro, followed by the Mystique, I would imagine. So is this the line that we want to go with? Actually, this isn't really our competing lane, so 2, 4, 6... They would need both, and I'm hoping that they aren't able to grab both to be able to find the win. I'm going to give this a shot. If they have both Cerebro and Mystique, they are going to outpower us. There's no question about it, and so we're going to see. So they have the Rock in the left lane. Cerebro, what is the follow-up? If it's the Mystique, I think we messed up. No, it's a Valkyrie, which does give them mid, but we have the right lane. We have the left lane. That is not quite going to do it. We went with our gut. We were able to hold it down. And very fortunately, we were able to secure the win, even though they had the double Ravonna discount. All right, next up we have Brandon. The first location is the Project Pegasus, so we have extra energy. We're going to go ahead and do Angela and Ravonna. That's going to give us a pretty good discount on just about everything else. They start with their Jane Foster, which does look like it drains their deck pretty considerably. I'm guessing maybe it is a Yellow Jacket and a Wasp, so they're running like the Hitmonkey version of the build that's been floating around. That's what I would imagine anyways. So we can play the Hawk, depending... Oh, okay, Scarlet Witch changes Onslaught Citadel into a Monster Island. We will absolutely take it. We have some good reach in our Iron Man in the Hawk. I think we go ahead and play a Hawk now. And then we have Iron Man for mid. We have Mystique to copy either one. And if they have the Jane Foster, I'm thinking they don't have a lot of counterplay. That'd be a gut read. All right, so we could try to fight for Hala, actually. We could do Mystique, Korg, and Black Widow. I don't know if it's perfect, but I do like the idea of going there because I don't think they're going to play for the left lane or for the right lane. So they go just Angela. We know that they have 2 0-cost cards in their hand. So I'm guessing Wasp and Yellow Jacket. They're probably saving it for dropping Scarlet Witch, for dropping Sarah on turn number 5, and then they're going to look to Flood on the final turn of the game, is what I would imagine is going to happen. All right, so I'm going to go Kitty Pryde in the left. We're going to go Iron Man into mid to double up on the effectiveness of our monster. I think we should have a decent shot here. They could potentially have a Luke Cage. They could have a Shadow King, which could steal away the left lane potentially, but I think otherwise... Oh, wow, they just completely skip. Interesting. Okay. There is a world where they end up beating us if they play their cards correctly. I don't think they're going to have a Shang-Chi, but I do think they could go with like a couple of cards over here going pretty high in this lane. I don't think they're going to compete for all 3, so I think we do this. We just leave the Iron Man lane alone, because if I was them, that's the lane that I would avoid, because that's going to be the easiest for me as an opponent to outscale them in. And so they go Mysterio. I would imagine the real Mysterio is probably in the left lane, if I was to guess. And so the Wasp comes down as well. As long as even if the real Mysterio is in the mid, it's not going to be enough. We outscale them in the left. We hold down the middle, and then they can have the right lane going very heavily onto that Hitmonkey play. But unfortunately, it was not going to be quite enough. All right, next up we have Sir King Venom himself. I think I'm going to start out with Korg. We could do it into Quantum Realm, but I don't know that we necessarily need to. We have the Angela that's going to be able to scale perfectly there. We have ongoings that benefit greatly from the Quantum Realm location, and so I don't think we need to necessarily force it. So let's go ahead and go Angela. We don't have a turn 3 play right now, so we're hoping for either Ravonna or a Rock Slide top deck. If we don't get it, that's fine. We would be fine for sure, but it would be nice if we could see it. No, we get the Black Widow, so that's definitely going to be going into the Quantum Realm. They will end up throwing... I'm sure that they'll end up throwing it into the Quantum Realm, so it's not a 0-power card. It's at least a 2-power card, but it is what it is. They go Forge into Mr. Sinister. I'm wondering if they're still running the Iron Lad deck from last season. With Absorbing Man taking a hit, that took a decent hit as well. So I'm definitely curious to see. We could go Jubilee. I mean, every card that it could pull is beneficial. Let's go ahead and go Jubilee into the left lane. We do have Ravonna, Renslayer, but I don't think it's worth dropping this turn or this game. So they are going the like Mr. Sinister Iron Lad style build. The Iron Lad ends up hitting Patriot, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We do end up pulling our Hobgoblin, giving us a very big lead in the left lane. And so from this point, I think we just focus on finding a way to win one additional location. And I think the way that we do that would be we go Hawk, and then on the last turn, we end up going Mystique and then Rock Slide. Because I think this left lane is a lock. I don't think they're going to be able to compete for it. But by giving 2 Hawks in the right lane plus the Rock Slide, the Iron Man is very scary to go up against. So maybe we pivot. Maybe we pivot here. I was very confident on going all in into the Avengers compound lane, but I'm honestly thinking we shift. So I think we go Mystique and then Rock Slide. This is going to end up being a 14 power, 15, 17 power play. That's tough to overcome, even with Patriot out on the board. It's a very tough play to overcome. And they do end up retreating. We do grab the victory versus King of Venom himself. And so we will take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Mego Fan. The first location is Kamartaj, which is unfortunate for them. Very, very fortunate for us because we do start out with our Korg. We start out with Black Widow. Unfortunately, they have a Spider Ham, and they do end up hitting our Hobgoblin, so that is going to be just a dead card. There is no way in the world that you can ever get us to play that card now. Let's go ahead and go with the Black Widow in the left lane. That's going to give them two pieces of junk that they're going to have to deal with. We do have Ravonna Renslayer to use next turn, but we are looking pretty low to the ground without being able to lean into the pig. Since we're looking pretty low to the ground, I think we are going to lean into the Rock Slide right away. I don't think we wait. We just go ahead and send as much junk as humanly possible. Curving the 1 into the 2 into the 3 is just so mean. That is that's probably the rudest play I think I've ever done. And that includes playing junk decks where we have the double debris, where we have the double Viper. That's so much junk that they have to deal with. The Iron Lad ends up pulling Stature of all things, so it does get some positive value. I'm going to go Angela and Iron Man on turn number 5, which is nice to be able to do both in the same turn. They do go Stature into mid. They can still move Jeff out, so we don't want to get too comfortable that it's completely locked in place, because it's definitely not. But going into the final turn, we of course draw our Chavez, which is not what we wanted to see. And so we actually wouldn't have been able to force a win. Like, we didn't have good cards. I'm guessing they were looking at all rocks, though. All right, next up we have Young. The first location is the Vibranium Mines, which, of course, is fantastic when you're running a Hawk deck. As long as we can end up drawing into Hawk by the end of the game, that's going to give us a lot of potential value and just threat on the board. So we have the Korg. We have Black Widow that we could go with. But I think we're going to go Angela. Next turn, we'll end up doing the Black Widow and Kitty Pryde, unless we draw into a Rock Slide or a Ravonna. And then we would definitely pivot, but at least for now, that's our tentative line. So they do play a Forge. I'm wondering what kind of Forge deck they're running. We did not have any additional 1-cost cards to draw, unfortunately. So they are going to be 1 card thinner in their deck. We're going to go Black Widow and Kitty Pryde. We're going to start buffing up the Angela. On turn 6, we have the ability to move that over into New York if we need to. Unless we draw something beneficial, so like a good 3-cost card. Most likely, we're going to do Jubilee into New York on turn number 4, but we'll see. They go Rogue. Definitely an odd play. Maybe this is the negative Surfer and they didn't hit anything good? I don't know. We're gonna go Ravonna into New York. We're gonna go Kitty Pryde to continue scaling the Angela. And then as we get a better feel for what kind of deck they're running, they do play into the Vibranium Mines this turn with the Widow's Bite. What are you doing? My good friend, what are you doing? Okay, so turn 5, I think we go Hobgoblin, and then we go Kitty Pryde. That way next turn we're throwing down Hawk into Jubilee, and then we have the potential to draw into an Iron Man, we have the potential to draw into Mystique, into Rock Slide, to even further benefit our cards. So they go Rock in the left lane. Very interesting that they're kind of clogging their own deck here. They have 11 cards now in their deck. And so very, very interesting for sure. I don't want to play into the Vibranium Mine, so I'm going to make them play something there, and we're just going to ignore it. We're going to act like it does not exist. Okay, so let's do this. Their Hawk is going to be much smaller than ours because they keep playing into the Vibranium Mines. We have a chance of drawing into Iron Man, which would be fantastic here. We have a chance of drawing into Rock Slide, which is kind of mid, and then the high roll would be Mystique. Now that is unless they have something like Shang-Chi. They've already used their Rogue, so I doubt they have both Rogue and Enchantress built in, but they might. So they move the Hawk over. They move Rogue into mid. We are going to need... Actually, no, we don't need a great pull here, do we? I mean, we'll take Iron Man. That is going to elevate this middle lane so dramatically. They go Chavez in the left lane. We have 28 power in mid, 29 in right, and it didn't even feel like the ideal draw. Like, it was an okay draw, but it didn't feel like we just had to draw in a particular order. We had just good value all the way throughout the entire game. Now, of course, a lot of the heavy lifting was due to them playing into Vibranium Mines, but we're not going to mention that. That is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like and a comment down below. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.